I'm Charles Bursell, and this is Stream of Consciousness Talk Radio Theater. Responsibility. We should all take responsibility, right? Of course, it's an axiom. It's an axiom. It's something you don't have to prove. It's just true. It's a good thing to have personal responsibility. Don't be the victim, right? Well, here's the problem with that, and what I want to explore today, as always, with your help. Personal responsibility has taken on, how shall I put it, kind of a totemistic quality. It's become iconic. It's become almost a religious tenet. It's become this, and I know we've used this word too many times on this show, but it's this horrible meme. You have to have personal responsibility. Only you. In fact, speaking of Facebook memes, I'm going to start with this. This is from a Facebook friend of mine, and I'm not going to say her actual name because I don't want to attack her, but just listen to this. It's crazy. I think it's crazy. Quote, God rising, exclamation point. That's how she starts all of her posts. God rising. Even slavery requires your free will agreement to be a slave. Slavery is in all caps. And this next sentence is in all caps. Victims can't ascend. 3 exclamation points. Hashtag embrace your power. And then she signs off, as she always does, love and light. I'm sorry, that's insane. That is just insane. But it's what some people believe. They want to make it so simple. You have all the power. And it's so tempting to believe that because it's true. I mean, there's so much truth in it. There is. But it's so simple. Life is way more complex than that.
Row, you galley slaves, to the beat. You hear the drum? We're playing the drum. It goes like this. Do I have to clap over the drum? You can hear the drum. Row with the drum.
Sir?
Row. Yes, you in front.
I don't like this anymore. I think I'm just gonna get off at the next stop. I'm
Whip.
Done.
Whip the one in the front.
Yeah,
yes.
I'm kind of tired of whipping people, so I'm actually going to get off at the next stop with you.
Okay, how about I throw you overboard right now?
God rising.
Oh, you're right.
Is there a point there, or
I'm
are you
sorry.
just shouting at us?
My mistake. Let me unlock your shackle right now. And you in front. What's your name again? I never learned your name. I'm sorry.
Samantha.
Samantha. You've been rowing faithfully for me for 10 decades now.
10 decades? That's how long we've been here?
It's been a long time, but rowing keeps you
fit.
Rowing keeps you fit, but I understand that now you want to be free of this galley, and we're going to pull over.
God rising.
That's what...
I just want to be clear that I didn't want to be free until now. Like, I have been doing this because I wanted to do it, but then now I don't want to do it anymore.
God bless you, Samantha. Well, here we are at McDonald's. You can all, we're lowering the brow right now, and you can all feel free to exit the ship.
God rising. I have personal will, and I wish to be a slave. I can't ascend. I don't want to ascend.
You don't want to ascend to McDonald's?
Darkness and dark.
But Maria, how often do we get to go to a waterfront McDonald's? I mean, come on.
It's going to be sweet.
No, I want these shackles tight and pinching into my ankles.
Okay, Whip, do you want to do that for
me?
me?
Tell you what, I'll do one last
whip
last
hurrah?
Just for you, Ted. Right. It's been 10 long decades.
I know, but now we're done. We're at the end.
Stream of Consciousness Talk Radio Theater. We're talking about personal responsibility today and playing the victim. And I'm going to try as best I can to make the case that you really need to give up this way of thinking. It's very simple. There's a bed of truth, and that's why it's tempting to align yourself with it. But it's way more complicated, and we know this. It's your biology, it's your brain chemistry, it's your psychology, it's how you were raised, it's your birth lottery, I like to call it. There's so many reasons. It's so complex why you might be having problems. Yes, take personal responsibility, but the rest of us can't just be blaming the victim and putting it all on you. Caller, hi.
Hi, Charles.
Hello.
Hi, my name is Rebecca Weiss,
Hi,
and
Rebecca.
I am a researcher at Tulane.
I love researchers. I have great respect for the academia.
Well, thank you. And I do believe from your intro that I believe we're going to be on the same page, but I just wanted to unpack a little bit about personal responsibility.
I won't hold that against you. I hate that expression, unpack, but I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's just so apt for this
Yeah,
situation.
It is.
So
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I understand what you're saying about personal responsibility being understandable, and we do have some individually some feelings that we actually have control over how our life goes
Sure.
and things like that. Because if we didn't feel that way, of course, life would be a lot harder. We'd feel really sad all the time. But I study and research about public health down here, and I just want to talk a little bit about how this quote-unquote personal responsibility narrative is often used to make excuses for systemic issues that are keeping certain groups of people oppressed.
I'm hearing you.
Yeah, and I figured
Yes.
you were on the same page. It's just I do believe there probably is some balance, but not such the emphasis that many groups of people are putting on personal responsibility. Like, if we look at communities that are steeped in poverty for generations and generations, and then the rates of obesity or of violence or of abuse, there's a lot of blaming of those people who've been living in these neighborhoods. And if we really look
They're making
at it,
they're making bad choices. They're
Right.
lazy. They're whatever.
Yeah. People living in poverty, working in rural America, are sometimes the folks who believe the most that there should be personal responsibility. So it is hard to kind of break that.
Yeah, that is
construct.
sort of oxymoronic, isn't it?
Yeah. The people whose systemic improvements would benefit the most are often the ones who are
Right.
against them.
It's the whole "what's the matter with Kansas" thing.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It's a hard conversation to have about
Yes.
privilege, and people want to tell you a whole bunch of individual stories about how they overcame some obstacle, and then as proof that there is no systemic issues.
Those individual stories, those anecdotes about how they overcame hardship, the thing is, they're true.
They are.
They're
yeah.
absolutely 100% true, so they're easy to believe. But the problem is then when they extrapolate and they universalize that experience and they say anybody can do it. Because
Exactly.
Oprah did it, because Tony Robbins did it, you can do it too.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're on the same page here, Charles. Just wanted to have a little conversation about
All
it.
right, thanks. All right, next caller I want to argue with. Caller, hi.
Ugh, I couldn't agree with you more.
Oh,
But you
God.
know who, you're talking about these neighborhoods and these people and these students and the younger folk and the older generation. You know who has ground my gears,
Oh, I like
as
that
it
expression.
were, for
Okay.
years?
Yeah? Who?
Ugh, a little fuzzy man named Yogi Bear. Prevent your own damn
Yogi Bear.
fires.
Oh, you mean Smokey Bear?
Smokey,
Yogi-
Smokey.
Yogi
I'm
was-
thinking of Yogi Berra or something.
Hey, Boo Boo. He was the Boo Boo guy.
Yeah, who is that fella? Only you can prevent
Only,
forest
Smokey
fires.
the Bear. Only you can prevent
Ah,
forest fires.
Take some
The other guy is
responsibility.
he steals picnic baskets.
Oh, well, you know what? There's the thing right there. I just get prejudice against one bear, and then I think it's all like what you said. I'm universalizing it.
Okay.
If one bear
All right.
tells me to prevent forest
I'm
fires,
just now catching on. He says only you can prevent forest fires.
prevent your own damn forest
Too much
fires.
responsibility on your part. You don't want it.
responsibility. And,
You got to take responsibility, though.
He's
Each
the
one of us has to
wandering
take.
around all the time,
Yeah.
anyways.
You're kind of
You know
missing
what?
the point, I think.
I'm just here eating my bread. What am I supposed to do about forest fires?
All right, I get it. Kind of missing the point, but thanks for your call.
Uncle Sam, you want me?
To prevent forest fires, yes.
Oh, I thought for the army.
Or,
Now it's forest fires?
well, the Forest Firefighting Army. It's a land-based U.S. continental contiguous states deal.
I'm kind of scrawny.
How old are you?
I'm 30.
Okay, yeah, scrawny 30-year-old. We can whip you into shape in 6 months and drop you out of a plane with a shovel. Are you ready for that kind of
No.
responsibility?
No.
You
No.
will save America.
Oh no.
Shanae, I don't know why you're insisting on going in the army. I mean, I don't think that's like your last choice.
Well, it's this or get married and have children.
Well, couldn't you like go to college? I'm going to college, and it's like, yeah, I'm going into debt, but like no
Right.
big deal.
College. Yeah, that'll get
College?
you. Let me tell you about Jimi Hendrix, young lady. Do you know Jimi Hendrix
Uh,
was an airborne army kid?
I didn't know you invited your recruiter to our coffee date, but hi, nice to meet you.
I like the cut of your jib, kid. I want you to sign on this dotted line. Right here.
In blood or ink?
Whatever you want. The sky's the limit, and I do mean sky.
Shanae, you've got more choices than this. Come on. I mean, yeah, your mom and dad don't have a lot of money. They can't pay for your college like mine are going to pay for mine, but you could do it.
You don't have to rub it in.
Pull yourself up by your bootstraps,
Pardon
Shanae.
me, bootstraps. Is your coffee running a little? Can I fill you up a little?
Sure.
There you go. It's on the house. Free coffee. Yeah, no problem.
We're talking about personal responsibility today, blaming the victim. This attitude comes from a position of privilege already. You're talking to other people in your own bubble. If you can do it, they should do it. You know, let me read another quote. Give me some new agey kind of music there. All right. The victim mindset dilutes the human potential. By not accepting personal responsibility for our circumstances, we greatly reduce our power to change them. That's a quote from a guy named Steve Maraboli. And I looked him up. He's a former, speaking of military, he's a former military guy, this really tall, good-looking guy. And he's basically a motivational speaker, and he's got no degree that I could find. He has no training of any kind in psychology or philosophy or theology or medicine or anything. He just pulls stuff out of his ass and makes a really nice living with his website and his books and his seminars. So that's what I'm talking about. I'd like to put that quote and the other one about being a slave, I'd like to put that right next to a picture. I'll make my own meme. I'll put that right next to a picture of like a Syrian refugee family. It's like, well, you just take responsibility for your own choices, and then you won't have these problems. Come on, seriously.
So let me get this straight. You were walking down the street in a neighborhood we know isn't very good. Okay? And I'm just trying to get my facts right, sir. You were wearing a Patagonia jacket.
Patagonia jacket.
One that we know to be an expensive brand.
Teal.
Right. And you were trying to tell me that you feel like violated by being robbed, mugged. Yeah. I don't know why you were walking there alone at night.
Yeah, so I just was taking a jaunt. It's kind of, just to see how the other side experiences things, just to take a little walk. It's almost like going to a museum, I guess. My husband and I get a little thrill from it. So we put on our Patagonia jackets, and we just took a little walk, and then all of a sudden, this man jumped out behind a tree, and he said, "That is a lovely jacket." And I said, "Thank you. It's teal." And then he said, "Have a great day, and what a handsome couple."
Oh, so you came to the police station to just tell me this story?
How dare he call us a handsome couple? Jeremy and I are not yet labeled.
Oh.
Who is he to assume what we are? And that's what this is really about.
Sir, I have other cases to attend to.
Oh, I'm not important? Is this...
No.
Oh, sorry, Jeremy, we're not important enough.
What?
Well, I have some investigations to get to. There was a
Did
murder.
you tell her about how he
I
was
told her
harassing us?
about the teal Patagonia
she
jacket
told
when
you
we were
about the
walking
jackets?
down Second.
It sounds a lot like a compliment to me. And don't people like you love compliments?
Ugh.
Oh, people like us.
People like
like
us.
us.
Excuse me.
There it is again.
Yeah.
Excuse me. There was a murder that I witnessed.
Excuse me, lady.
See-
You get in line, take a number.
Take
We have
a
a number. Our number is
number.
2. And
No.
we're up at number 2.
Gentlemen, give me a minute.
My
Tell me
number's
about this
murder.
Tell me about this murder, please.
Okay, so I was watching TV on my Naugahyde couch. You know, I was eating my cottage cheese, and my husband comes stomping into the room, and he has this newspaper all rolled up. And you know what he did?
What? Go on.
You won't believe this.
Go on.
He smacked a mouse that was running around the living room.
Okay.
And he killed it. And there's blood. I brought the evidence. Here's the rolled up newspaper with the mouse blood. He did it. I want you to arrest him, put him in prison, because that's animal abuse.
All right, back to you guys. You seem a little bit more of a case, so go on.
But I don't know. I think that animal
Excuse
abuse.
me? That was murder. I witnessed a murder.
I need to find a new city to live in.
Stream of Consciousness, Talk Radio Theater, Charles Bursell here. We're talking about personal responsibility today and being the victim. I've got a collection of words of wisdom here. Give me the New Age music again. You must take personal responsibility. You cannot change the circumstances, the season, or the wind, but you can change yourself. That is something you have charge of. That is a guy named Jim Rohn. Interesting guy. He became very, very rich as a direct sales mogul. I don't remember what he sold, some crap that nobody needed. Like the others, no degree of any kind, he's not a philosopher or a scientist or a theologian. He's just a guy who got rich, and then people wanted him to make speeches about his success. And then he has since become a motivational speaker, and this is the kind of crap he talks about.
Jim, it is so good to meet you in person. My wife and I are so excited. We couldn't need this more. Our house just burned down and...
Keep a stiff upper lip. I'm sure if you just think of a new house, one will come to you.
Honey, do you think that'll work?
Nice to meet you, and with all due respect, no.
Okay, well, thanks for buying my book, and if you read it, you'll find hundreds of other witticisms that will get you through your hard time. I don't want to diminish your hard time. I understand your hard time. I grew up with hard times. I'm a man of hard times. But I turned my hard times upside down, just like you can turn that frown upside down.
Honey, I thought you said this guy was the real deal.
Yeah, he was. Look at his picture on the back of this book. And okay, so you can't help us with the house. But my son here actually just lost his foot. It was run over by an SUV. I'm wondering if you have any words of wisdom.
The foot that loses the shoe is the foot that laughs last. And I think that perhaps if he had kept the shoe on the other foot, he would still have a foot. But...
What?
You understand what I'm getting at, son. I'm saying baseball.
There's a little Jim Rohn, who was kind of a precursor to the aforementioned Tony Robbins. A lot of people know. Let me give you a Tony Robbins quote. We can change our lives. We can do, have, and be exactly what we wish. Whatever happens, take responsibility. I'll bet you're not going to guess what I'm going to say next. Tony Robbins, no degree. None. Science, philosophy, math, English, anything. Nothing. He just kind of latched on to this world, and there he's made a big success. I want to mention a couple things because the half hour always goes so quickly. Have you heard of the prosperity gospel? It's a very kind of right-wing, conservative, evangelical idea that if you're rich, it's because God wants you to be rich. You're blessed, basically. Now, the left... the hippy-dippy left, that I'd more identify with, a lot of them have taken on this exact same philosophy, and I think have kind of unwittingly latched onto it, and they call it abundance. And that's where all the whole affirmations thing come, the law of attraction and the secret and all of that. If you put good out into the world, good will come back. And of course, as I opened the show with, it's all true. Of course it's true. That's why it's so appealing. But it's just not that simple. So the religious right and the religious left have latched onto this thing. Prosperity, abundance, because you worship the guy with the beard in the clouds or the goddess or whoever or nature. It's become very spiritual. Let me read one more here. Let's see. Don't go around saying the world owes you a living. The world owes you nothing. It was here first. That is attributed to Mark Twain, but of course Mark Twain wasn't a jerk, so he didn't say that. It was just attributed to him. That's a quote from humorist Robert Jones Burdett. Lived around the same time as Mark Twain. Again, no degree of any kind, just a homespun philosopher who wrote a funny column for his newspaper, and now it's a meme that we're all supposed to live by. It's right-wing ammunition. We don't owe you anything. Is to deny social responsibility, any kind of social justice, racial justice, environmental justice, economic justice, gender equality. Now I'm just excused from the whole thing because I can blame you. All right. I knew this half hour was going to go way too quickly. I want to have time for our guests. We have some in-studio guests today, which we don't normally have. There's a big seminar in town, a big self-help seminar, and I'm going to let her tell you about it. She's a self-help author, motivational speaker, and the organizer of this big event. So introduce yourself and tell us about it.
Hi, my name is Connie Miller. I have written my third book about personal success and perseverance called You Can Do It, even if TV tells you you can't. And so I'm having a seminar. Everybody is welcome. We're on day 2 now. I've got lots of other motivational speaker friends and self-help friends, and it's really about finding that inner voice, that inner intuition in your heart, and letting it direct your choices.
So, Connie, how did you get into this work?
Oh, I went through a rough time myself and went looking for the answer to how to get through life a little easier. And eventually I found that answer was in my own heart. And so once I got myself back on my feet after a long bout of addiction and 2 divorces, I thought, it was my own heart that guided me, and I want to help guide people to listen to their own heart as well.
All right. We want to move to our next guest, who is a photographer, one of the speakers at the seminar, and I understand your work is on display.
Yes.
You got a new book of your photos out. Introduce yourself and tell us about your work.
Well, hello, my name is John Persimmons, and my book is I Backpacked My Way, One Wheel at a Time. I'm a cross-country moto unicyclist, and I specialize in helping people pack for their trip.
And then you put these in a series of photographs.
Yes. The photographs are my travels on each page. Each city shows my pack, how I packed my unicycle.
I noticed there's very little photographs of the actual locations. It's mostly about what you've packed.
Well, that's the most important part.
Yeah.
What to take, what not to take, how to roll a blanket, how to fold a shirt.
And your message at Connie's seminar is about packing?
Yes. It's empowerment for packing so that people can feel confident to go on these journeys on their own.
I see you brought your book with you. Why don't you open it up to maybe one of your favorite photographs and tell me about it?
Oh, that's easy. Yeah. Okay. See this one on page 51?
Okay.
So this is my pack. I used 2 old briefcases. They say Panasonic. They were from a piece of equipment, and I was able to saddlebag those to my unicycle and stuff them with snacks.
The third member of our panel is also a participant, a presenter at the seminar, poet, activist, performance artist. Introduce yourself to our listeners.
Hi, I'm Charlene Delights, and I'm here to stand up and make a fight for all those who are oppressed, like opossums stuck in a tree trunk. I am here to cut the goddamn tree down, because we're not going to take it anymore. We're not going to take any more of this self-help mumbo-jumbo anymore. We're going to unite, because community is the only way we can activate activism and unity for all.
So, Connie, I understand it was a court order that forced you to allow Charlene to be part of your presentation. Is that right?
Yeah, but when you frame it like that, it just seems to be something with so much
So you're happy to have her with you.
Oh my gosh, Charlene, her poems speak to me in a beautiful way. And honestly,
I hope they're never beautiful. I want them to be feral. I want them to be raw. I want them to be true.
See, what I love about you, Charlene, is you are so quite obviously listening to that voice in your heart and just making your own entity known in the world. And that is what I want everybody who reads my book to come out closer to you, to be somebody that they can speak their mind and not worry about it not being the theme of the conference or anything like that. I just want that kind of confidence.
And the fourth member of our panel is just some guy we pulled off the street walking his dog. What do you think of all this?
I don't know what the fuck is happening.
What's your name?
Robert?
Hi, Robert. Yeah, we saw you walking your dog.
Yeah, I was walking
What's
my
your dog's
dog.
name?
Also Robert.
Oh, nice. I like when people do that. So we thought we'd bring you in on the panel just to get your the everyman.
Yeah, I was cleaning up Robert's off the sidewalk, and by
Which Robert?
I mean
your
my
own?
dog.
Your
not
own.
my
Your own.
But who's to say anymore? And
Our
then
show
some-
today is about personal responsibility and playing the victim card. And
Okay.
You're on the panel here with presenters from a big self-help seminar.
Okay.
And we thought they could benefit from your wisdom, the everyman.
Shoot. Well, first of all, great to meet you guys. Sorry that I smell like dog shit, but
It's because you're a breast man.
What is happening here? Well, I guess just some wisdom from me is if your dog pick it up, you know?
See, he's taking responsibility for you're taking responsibility for little Robert's shit in the world. And that is a metaphor I could not have written. Do you mind if I use that in my next book?
Sure, you can use it. I don't
That's
understand how it
fantastic.
fits here. I'm just telling you, I'd pick up my dog's.
Just like metaphorically speaking, you know, if you're going through a hard time, your life's a mess. Well, you got to start picking up your shit.
Down, Robert, down.
I'm standing here.
The other Robert.
Sorry.
Down, Robert.
So confusing.
You
Hilariously
might need to clean up.
drunkenly named.
Might need to clean up the corner. Robert, Charlene brought her book. Charlene, hand Robert your book.
My dog can't read.
No, you, Robert.
God, this is
Not
confusing.
the other. And John, if you could hand the other Robert your book, because I think he needs a place to
Sure.
poop. What I was hoping is, Robert, you could, Robert, you could read one of Charlene's poems
Sure.
for us.
Yeah, I'd love to. Do you have a favorite that you'd want me to read from, or is it all kind
How about bungling down the cabbage patch with a scissors lodged in my thigh?
of... Okay, just that's the first line of the poem. Bungling down the cabbage patch with the scissors stuck in my thighs. When I turn to the sun, it looks like everybody is cutting me, cutting me, cutting me. But I won't bleed at them, for my world is a Band-Aid, and the sun is but a teardrop in the ocean of noses. I don't know what's happening. I just
that's-
wanted to walk my
for
dog.
a guy that just walked in off the street, that was a really good reading, wasn't it?
It really was.
Yeah.
And you know, it's the sneezing that is like a whole metaphor for your life.
Right.
It's just it's a quick moment, and you got if you put all your pressure at it, you just enjoy it more.
Yeah, that explains the weird, like, moist drops on this page. I think she actually sneezed into each book before they published
Absolutely.
it. So
Nice.
I guess it makes
That's
a point.
a beautiful, beautiful poem,
Yeah.
Charlene. Just
John has his camera out.
Shut up.
John wants to take pictures of everybody, of this experience.
Actually, what I'm really interested in is Roger's pack here.
It's Robert.
Robert.
Oh,
It's
I'm sorry, Roger.
Robert.
Oh, yeah, Robert has
Wait.
a pack.
Now I'm
Who's
pissed
Robert
off.
now?
John has
I thought,
an
who's
interest-
Roger?
John has an
Nobody's
interest in
nobody's
backpacks.
Roger, you idiot. Put down the camera and listen.
But this
Roger's my paramour in prison.
There we go.
Have you been doing research about me?
Just for
Not
reference.
Are
specific
you with the
research, but
That's the
FBI?
poem on the
I am
opposite
sort of,
page.
pretty
I don't know what's
cognizant.
happening.
I was part of
I
the
just
Robert,
want
down.
to pick up
For a while.
Robert's
Down.
being-
What you
and
learned
what am I
a
supposed
lot
to do?
of listening. I won't give you what you want. I don't have
talking about
That picture's
poems.
from
I can't even
sunsets and
perceive
tripods
that.
and
Well,
tripods everywhere.
I don't know
Cut
what
down
to
this
do.
wall.
Anything to hang.
Thanks for being
I'm
here.
jumping out.
Love
For
to
your
a
bike and
camera.
your rig
I
is
can't
the most
believe
important
this.
part
Let me
of
just
the.
pick up my
Excuse me.
dog's
Wait, I didn't get a picture.
Stream of Consciousness Talk Radio Theater. The SCTRT Players. Krista Jarzinski. Anja, not Anja Seeger. The Scrouse. And Jonathan Wachala. Music by Peter Donalds. Find this podcast wherever you find your podcasts. We're on all your favorite apps and platforms, including Apple Podcasts, iTunes, all of that. Like us on Facebook, Stream of Consciousness Talk Radio Theater on Facebook, and of course my website, charlesbursell.com, where you'll find all the links, all the shows, all the time. There you go. Be responsible.